Well, hello there, my friend. I hope you're having a fabulous day. I am here making myself my lunch. I don't know whatever time it is, wherever you are, but here you're joining me for lunch. I hope it's okay. You are my lunch date as I am making this recording for you to talk to you about the so-called wise counsel you've been receiving all this time. That is quite honestly such shitty counsel, but yet you've never been told that you need to seek different counsel. Or actually, stop listening to it altogether. You see, if you're listening to this, at whatever time of day that you're listening to this, you're probably woke up this morning and started to go about your day. And at some point, probably fairly early on throughout your day, your imposter syndrome kicked in, right? There's something in your life, somewhere in your life where you're like, I can't do this. I have this problem. I can't make money, or like I'm struggling. How am I going to ever fix this problem? I'm not good enough. I'm not qualified enough. At some point, your not enoughness kicked in to make you feel, let's face it, like crap. And that story, that reel that you keep replaying in your head of like, I'm not good enough, I can't start my business, I can't get promoted into that particular role that I've been dreaming of, like it's just a dream, it's not achievable, or the economy's not doing well, my industry's not doing well. All those things that you start repeating in your head, those stories, are coming from a place of, well, let's face it, monkeys advising you. Now you're like, monkeys? What the heck are you talking about, Olivia? You see, this is where I'm going to let you in on it's a bit of a secret. It's like kind of my own little internal world. And that is that my ego, that chatter that I have in my head, that we all have, right? That chatter that started at some point earlier in the day today for yourself, I have decided to really identify that ego voice that is giving me such unwise counsel and that kind of keeps me in that spiral of like, I'm not good enough. There's no way that I'll ever be able to achieve this. Look at history. Nobody's ever done this before. And all those like pieces of advice that truly are not worthy of staying in my life, yet somehow you can't seem to like eject them from your life. I call that my counsel of monkeys, because it literally, if you objectively remove yourself and start realizing who's speaking to you, like where those voices are coming from, it's nothing but past advice from society, from people in your life, from past social interactions, your parents, your cousins, your family, your society, your culture, that is giving you their opinion. And it's stuck like a record, like a broken record. It's stuck in your head, and you've never questioned those thoughts. You've never questioned those beliefs, right? And you've never questioned them because this wise counsel that perhaps started forming itself, or that you adopted at a very young age, has always been there. Literally, that counsel of monkeys in your head has been there for decades now. And the problem with that is that you don't realize that you shouldn't be freaking listening to the advice of monkeys. You should always be listening to your own inner guidance. But we don't, because we're so used to, so accustomed to listening to these monkeys, that we don't know how to shut them up. We don't know how to kick them to the curb, right? And this is why I wanted to make this recording and take you out to lunch with me, if you will. It's because here's the truth of the matter. I sincerely believe that dream, that anxiety that you have about your dream, is not sourced in the same place as your dream. You see, your creator, the universe, God, goddess, call it what you may, would not have endowed you with that dream if you weren't completely capable of achieving it as well. If it hadn't given you absolutely every last thing that you needed in this life in order to make that dream real. You don't believe me? Well, let's put it in perspective. Why is it that my dream isn't to build airplanes? Why is my dream not to become an astronaut or some sort of aeronautical engineer who builds airplanes? Why? Why am I not doing that? Because that's not my fucking dream. I have no idea how to build airplanes. I have zero interest in building airplanes. And truth be told, if you were flying on an airplane made by me, like, you're kind of doomed. Like, that's not going to go well for anyone. So, thankfully, that's not my dream. But it's not a coincidence that my dream is to teach women how to make money. It's not a coincidence that I've made a living helping women negotiate salaries and negotiate money. Why? Because a big chunk of my own personal experiences have been born from that. I've lived through that. I've lived through not having money, and I've lived through having money. And I'm at the other end of the tunnel being like, this is so clear and it's so self-evident to me and to the world that this is my calling. Right? But it wasn't always that way. There was that point in time where I had to say, like, okay, this is what I want my calling to be, even though I might not have all the experience that I need to get there yet. I know that it's calling me. And if you don't listen to that calling, that's when you end up in mediocre land. If you instead, you listen to your council of monkeys, and you listen to this very unwise counsel of advice, you're not going to be able to follow through on your dream because you're going to get stuck on the opinion of frickin' monkeys. And should you be even listening to their advice? Like, as a human being, I love monkeys. Don't get me wrong. They're like fun. They're like cool to look at and like feed them bananas, all those things. Like, that's awesome. They're really fun. But let's face it. As a human, your brain capabilities have evolved significantly above those mental abilities of our primate, cousin species. So why the hell are you taking advice from a council of monkeys? You shouldn't. You shouldn't. And here's the thing. Here's the internal guidance. Like, if you're listening to this and wondering, oh, I don't even know if I'm listening to the monkeys or if I'm listening to my head, right? If you can go to that place where you're saying, okay, this is my calling. This is what I want to do with my life. This is the kind of money that I want to be making, the kind of difference that I want to make in the world. If you go to that place, you're also going to be going to that inspired place where the source of these dreams and these visions that you have, of that greater version of you, they also have every single answer that you need. Your creator would not have endowed you with a dream or a vision of greatness if it hadn't also endowed you with everything you needed to create that dream, right? So trust yourself more than you trust your council of monkeys. That's the bottom line. Right? So I want you to ask yourself, please, and please go ahead and do this exercise. What's the biggest opinion that this council voiced to you today? Right? What is the council saying to you today? Give yourself a second. I'm not going anywhere. Just trying to figure out what else I'm going to put on my salad. Ooh. Arugula. Yeah. All right, well, let's come back to the conversation. What is your council of monkeys telling you today? Like, what is that loudest voice that you've heard so far today? Now I want you to think of it, that piece of advice, as if though it had been bestowed upon you by literally a council of monkeys. Don't you feel silly? Don't you feel a little ridiculous in listening in to monkeys giving you advice? I hope you do. Because if you don't, that means that you haven't really tapped into the fact that you're human and you have a soul. You have a very, very, very wise soul that is way beyond any animal species, be that human or primate or like ape, that knows everything and knows exactly how to make your dreams happen, knows exactly how to bring that dream forth. But you're the one who's stopping it. You're the one who's in the middle of the road with that massive like roadblock. So how do you unblock it? Pretty simple, my friend. Stop listening to that council of monkeys. So that big, big piece of advice that council has bestowed upon you today, I want you to think about it and realize, what if I didn't take this opinion from the council and I actually instead listened to my heart and I listened to my soul? Let me know. I can't wait to hear. Let me know in the comments. What is your council of monkeys saying? And what is it that you're actually going to do?